the slump of the shoulders, or the steam rising out of the ears, or the huge glass of wine they're holding in their hand.
Hello and welcome to our Meet the Coach series. I'm your host, Carla Egan, and today we're talking about how to identify someone's behaviour style and bring out the best in them. Our guest today is a practice speaking professional and a business coach. He works with leaders and coaches to bring out the best in their people, and he does this by utilising simple yet really powerful assessment tools that quickly identifies a person's behavioural style. Our guest today is Lindsay Adams from 24/7 Assessments, and Lindsay joins me today from Mitchelton in Queensland, Australia. Welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you, Carla. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
And look, today we're talking about identifying a person's behavioural style. And I know that you use and distribute a range of behavioural assessment tools, but I'm keen to know, which is the most powerful tool that you have in your resource kit?
Well, of course, it's horses for courses, but the flagship product that I use and sell is the good old DISC assessment. DISC has been around for a long, long time, but it's the world's most popular online assessment tool, and it quickly helps you identify someone's behavioural style. Now, it's a 4-quadrant model, so it's very simple. It's easy to understand and it's easy to remember. And when you're working with a client, it gives you the shortcut to understand, how they like to do stuff, so that you know where to tune in to work with their hotspots.
I like the simplicity of the model. I use it myself, and I've used your model too, so I can attest to the simplicity, but the power, that the insights that you gather. So for people listening and following our podcast, why is it important for leaders and coaches to understand another's behaviour style when you're working with them?
Well, riddle me this. When you come home at the end of the day, can you tell whether your significant other's had a good day or not? Just by looking at them, without even speaking? I bet you can. Now, how do we know that? It's because we've built up a database of years of experience of what does that expression mean? What is that, the slump of the shoulders, or the steam rising out of the ears, or the huge glass of wine they're holding in their hand? Now, we don't have the luxury of that amount of time when we're working with a client. So what the DISC assessment does, it gives us a very quick read on their behavioural style. Now, remember, we all have a preference in terms of the way we like to do stuff. The way we like to do it may differ from our client. And so we have to adjust in order to get with our client and work with them to tune in and bring out their best.
I like that. Can you give us an example of where that's worked in a work environment or with a client, where understanding those behaviour styles has really added some value?
Absolutely. A client came to me and she said, Lindsay, I can't get my boss to agree to anything. Now, she was an I on the DISC assessment, so big picture thinker, extroverted, lots of ideas. She was loud, she was brash. And I said, well, tell me about your boss. It turns out he was the polar opposite. He was a C, a conscientious, a detail-focused introvert. She would go to his office, got a great idea. She'd whiteboard and go, what do you think? And he'd go, I'll think about it, I'll look into it, I'll get back to you. And so I taught her how to adjust her behaviour to be more like him. And so she sent him an email, she booked an appointment, she had an agenda, she sat and quietly worked through the agenda at his desk with him. And guess what? He agreed instantly to her proposal. She rang me all excited. Lindsay, it worked. Didn't need the phone. I could hear her clear across town. And so adjusting your behaviour helps you get what you need or want. And so if we can do that with our client and then teach our clients how to do that, it's absolute gold.
I love that story. I absolutely love it because it's so true. It changes the dynamics. It changes how you communicate and how you connect to another person. Now, that's one of the most powerful tools that you've got in your resource kit. I know you've got others. So what else? What other tools do you have, Lindsay, that you'd like to share with us today?
But wait, there's more. I have 5 core profiles. So there's a DISC assessment, which is all about your behaviour. Then there's the motivators assessment that identifies what motivates you to create those behaviours. Good old learning styles, emotional intelligence, and critical thinking. So that covers off on the basic human condition. I've got a great leadership 360 tool, which has been brilliant if you're working with teams and you want to help the leader, get a measure on where they fit. And then I've got some company-wide assessments. I've got a beaut one called the Business Excellence Indicator, and it measures the non-financial stuff. So companies are all over their, income, expenses, all the money side of stuff, but they rarely measure leadership, culture, service, which this tool does. So it's a bit of a snapshot. I've got a couple others, but they're, probably the most popular and useful tool for a coach.
Wow, you do have a toolkit. So based on all those assessment tools, because they're really valuable to a lot of people, how do you work with people for them to get access to these tools, to be able to use them themselves in their business or with their teams? Can you just explain how people might engage you and your services for those tools?
Okay, warning, sales pitch coming. 24/7 assessments is open 24/7, hence the name. And so basically what happens, I create a user account for the client. They have their own username and password. They can log into their account anytime, 24/7. Once they have the account, they can go in and set up a profile for a client. It's a really simple process. It takes about 5 minutes. They create a hyperlink. They send that to the client. The client clicks on the link, takes them to the questionnaire. Once the client completes it, they get the report instantaneously. It's that quick. And then, you can go on from there. So it's a really simple process. If you're working at midnight, you don't have to worry and go, oh man, I forgot to order my profiles from Lindsay. Just go into your account, order 1, order 10, order 100. It doesn't matter. You can order whatever. You can order 17. You can order 27. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want, you can order them 24/7.
Wonderful. And I have done that myself and use your tools. Now, Lindsay, as a business coach yourself and someone that also trains leaders and coaches, what does joining the coaching directory mean for you and your business?
When I first met you, Carla, I was so impressed. And I love the concept of the coaching directory because I get to hang out with other people who do what I do. Now, coaching is an interesting business, and there are so many people out there who call themselves coaches, and are they really trained and or qualified coaches? And so the thing which I love about the coaching directory is I get to hang out with people who are qualified and trained coaches, and they do what I do and they understand what I do. And I love the whole concept. I had a little meeting, you offer the opportunity to get together with another coach occasionally. I did that recently. Oh man, did we have a great conversation, made another, great friend, colleague, and so that's the thing I love about the coaching directory. And there's business opportunities that come as well, because you feed us opportunities from time to time, which I love. So why wouldn't you want to be part of this community?
Oh, thank you, Lindsay. And we're delighted to have you on because the tools that you offer coaches, but also the general public and business owners, leaders, it really is valuable, because if you run a business, if you are an employee, you're in the people business, and it helps to understand people. So thank you. And look, that brings us to the end of our Meet the Coach interview. Lindsay, thanks for sharing your perspective on and your tools on how to understand another person's behaviour style, but also understanding your own style too.
Yeah, thanks, Carla. It's been an absolute pleasure to join you today.
And for our listeners that are interested in learning more, you can find Lindsay on the coaching directory. And thanks for listening and following our series of Meet the Coach. If you enjoy our show, please rate and review us, and be sure to catch us on the next episode. This is Carla Egan from the Coaching Directory, where we connect you to your ideal coach.